For thousands of years, we've been under the impression the Bible was meant to be taken seriously. Finally, a new translation that'll change all that. This is Oh My God, What the Fuck Bible.
Reach out, touch faith.
Welcome to Season 5, Episode 7 of Oh My God, What the Fuck Bible with me, David Tuchman, at my house. Each week on the show, a guest joins me and tries to read a big chunk of my own personal translation of the Hebrew Bible while I make fun of it. And this time we're reading a portion known in Hebrew as Ki Tavo, and in English as You'll See. Here we go. I want to welcome to the show writer, journalist, and Deep Space Nine fan, Dvora Meyers. Welcome, Dvora. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Excited to have you on the show. Do you mind just introducing yourself a little bit and telling the audience about yourself and what you do when you're not watching Star Trek in quarantine?
Well, I mean, there's not a lot of time. There's not a lot of activity other than watching Star Trek in quarantine. But I guess before COVID-19, I was a journalist. I'm speaking a lot in the past tense these days because I'm not sure where my career is. I was a journalist. I wrote a lot about sports, like gymnastics and figure skating. I've written a book. I have a dog. I mean, my life is so boring, and the older I get, it just gets more and more boring. I didn't really think I'd turn out this way.
I mean, you're on a Bible podcast, so things are looking up right now. I think you've written some important things. I think you've written some prestigious places, even if they no longer exist for various reasons.
They exist, but in a zombie-like state, or
yes.
As I think a lot of the former Deadspin writers are calling it, Vichy Deadspin. I think,
very appropriate.
Yeah, because they also moved to a different city, just like the Vichy government moved to Vichy. So it works on so many levels. Now the zombie Deadspin staff is in Chicago as opposed to New York, or it's where at least it's based.
Cool. And, we're in a weird time for sports, so I imagine there's not as much to be writing about right now.
It's not like game coverage, but it's now more like, will we kill the athletes just so we can have entertainment and just so these billionaires can make more money? Like, that's really the sort of sports coverage we're getting these days.
Yeah.
And like, how many college athletes should we kill?
Right. It's not a question of if, it's how many, what proportion.
Yeah. What is an acceptable level of death? That is more what the sports world is like at the moment. Mm-hmm. As the NCAA tries to figure out how they can still make money during a pandemic.
While not paying anybody, but putting their lives at risk.
Exactly.
Do you think there'll be an Olympics next year?
I do not.
Okay.
I've been decided on this point for a really long time. I just don't see how it can happen. I mean, I was thinking back in March as all of this is starting to happen, we get the Olympics are delayed. And I remember my mother's turning 80 at the end of this month. And I remember back in March thinking, oh, for sure I can go to Florida and visit her in August, right? And now we are in August, and obviously I'm not going to Florida to visit her. I sent her a card and a present because I've decided that my birthday gift to my mother for her 80th birthday is I'm not going to kill her with a virus I brought down.
I think that's a good idea. That's nice to let her have an 81st birthday.
Yeah, just the way this has progressed, I think a lot of us thought several months ago that we'd be out from under the worst of it by now. And we have learned that is definitely not the case. So I just don't think I can't imagine a situation in which the Olympics happen next year. And that's really sad for a lot of athletes, but I can't imagine how they go on. Though I'm sure the IOC, just like the NFL owners and just like the NCAA, it's probably trying to figure out how, what is the acceptable level of death that they are willing to accept in order to host an Olympic Games. And I mean, the IOC already does that in terms of displacing people and all kinds of in order to host the games, or the local organizing committees technically are the ones that draw up the plans that do the displacing. And then so these are organizations that don't have a lot of regard for athletes in terms of their well-being.
Well, It's a lot. It's a lot. There's a lot in the air right now. It's a crazy, crazy time, and I'm glad that I'm finishing the Torah. Speaking of the Torah, let's talk about Judaism a little bit. What is your religious background, or what kind of tradition were you raised with?
I grew up Orthodox in Brooklyn,
Mm-hmm.
and I never know how to describe it, whether or not it's like modern Orthodox, because we had a TV. Like that was like, the marker of modern Orthodoxy. It's like we had a TV and I was allowed to go to the movies, but I couldn't wear pants.
Mm-hmm.
and so I don't know what you call that. I used to think I grew up modern Orthodox, but then I went to University of Pennsylvania and I met like kids from Ramaz.
Right.
And I was like, oh, that's modern Orthodoxy. So I don't really know how to characterize my Orthodox upbringing, and like which label I fit under.
It's an interesting question because I feel like modern Orthodoxy, probably in our age group, kind of got more and more conservative or more to the right, like
Mhm.
during that time, even though it was like named modern Orthodox. I don't know. I know, like, growing up too, like, I went to Young Israels, but, like, the Ramaz kids were seen as, like, oh, they're not even Jewish.
Yeah. So I grew up Orthodox. I went to an all girls yeshiva, all
Hmm.
girls camp. I did gymnastics. So, I was just basically never around boys
Right.
ever until I went to college. And I am not Orthodox anymore. And that was it's a again like my life at this moment. It's actually an incredibly boring story. I think when you tell people that you grew up Orthodox, they're expecting you to tell them like some dramatic story about how you like fled in the middle of the night. And it was just like a slow gradual process of me figuring out who I was and what I wanted and what I believed.
Hmm.
Like
Normal
not
drifting
not
away in college. No.
it was more after college, to be honest,
Okay.
because I went to Penn, which has a really robust Orthodox community, and I just remember feeling a lot of pressure there, like to stay at the level of religiosity that I entered in.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I started to wear pants, I know, like a big move, and like my roommate would get peppered with questions like, "Oh, is Dvora wearing pants?" And my roommate would be like, "Why don't you go ask her?" Because there was like it was okay to I feel like it was okay for some people to come in wearing pants and like this is my religious level, this is where I'm staying,
Right.
but for me to come in and then change, and I didn't like being talked about in
Right.
general, and still don't, which is probably why I have not appeared on the podcast anytime soon recent in the recent past. And so I kind of more transition, I would say, when I moved to LA after college, and
Hmm.
I was in a place where absolutely no one knew me, and I
Yeah.
could just sort of completely remake myself.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
think, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people like to see the, like, Netflix unorthodox story or something, but a lot of times, especially for people who are modern or whatever the label is, it's just kind of a drifting away or nothing so dramatic.
We should not go down the unorthodox path.
No,
I have
no.
ways. But all I can say is that when I left Orthodoxy, I did not meet the German cast of fame, as my friend put it. That's all I'm saying is that like most people when they leave Orthodoxy, there isn't like a group of helpful Germans around.
No. And one Israeli who, like, kind of gets it, but it's kind of me. Yeah.
I mean, the only person who spoke any sense
Yeah.
in that series. But
Yeah.
we should not go down this because
That's
then like
not. Yeah. That's. But let's talk about the Bible or the Torah a little bit. Like, growing up, what was your relationship with it? Or, just even, did you have a favorite story or a favorite character that stuck out to you?
this is going to sound so self-involved, but I'm gonna choose my namesake, and because I did a lot. I guess not growing up. I can't remember if I had any particular characters I looked up to growing up.
Hmm.
That was a really long time ago, my childhood, and I really tried to repress that as much as possible. To be honest, not for
Hmm.
Judaism reasons, but for all the other reasons that
Right.
one not want to remember their childhood. And but in terms of like now and probably as an adult, I did a lot of thinking about the character of Deborah in Judges, and just like how she was, I don't know, one of the only or the only female character in Tanakh who's not married to someone who is important, if she's married at all. There's debate about that.
Right.
He's not someone's mother who, like, someone who turns out to be important, like Hannah. And she isn't someone's, sibling like Miriam, right? So she's just not attached to any powerful men, and she herself is pretty important. And I think she's a pretty singular character in
Yeah.
this. And so I don't mind having the same name as her.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's very prominent. She's one of the only female characters who's defined by what she does, as opposed to like her relationship to other people, or like, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
good one. I want to get to her eventually, maybe in a few more years at
Yeah,
the pace I'm
you can
going.
invite me back for that.
Yeah, you can come back when we read Dvora. I don't know how long those episodes will be. Um, Are you ready to read the Bible?
I haven't in a while. I just want to say that, like, you sent me the script earlier, and I
Yeah.
really look at it, and so I've decided, like, to just be like, oh, the dumb person in the podcast.
It's okay.
Every podcast, like, I'm gonna be the every woman. Like, people are gonna be able to identify with me, and you will be the intellectual.
I don't know if I'm the intellectual, but I think a lot of people are going to be hearing this for the first time. There's some wacky stuff in it. But
Yeah.
this is Torah, a loose translation, book 5, words, episode 7, when you arrive, chapter 41, in which there are fruity rules, Deuteronomy 26:1 to 26:11.
Okay, Moshe said, when you arrive at the land Jehovah, your Elohim, is going to give you as a portion to inherit, and you settle there, you got to take the first fruit of the ground, put it in a basket, and go to the place that Jehovah, your Elohim, is going to choose to rest its name. Go to the Kohen who is there in those days and tell him, today I am saying that Jehovah and our Elohim has brought us to the land that Jehovah swore to our fathers to give us. I just feel like some things should never be transliterated or said in English.
Which one?
I mean, it's kind of, I don't know, it's just, it just trip over it. And I felt like slightly illiterate there.
Kohen's a hard one. I don't like, because it's not really a priest. It's like it's like this figure. It is really annoying that he says Jehovah, your Elohim, and our Elohim over and over and over again. You can skip a few Elohims if you feel like it.
No, if I'm gonna do Torah for the first time in many years, I'm gonna do it right.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm curious about the translation you pulled this from.
This is mine.
Oh, I'm sorry to. Wow, I just
That's
insulted
all right.
the host and the translator.
That's all right.
I'm off to a rocking start. The Kohen will take the basket from you and put it before the altar of Jehovah, your Elohim. This is what you'll say before Jehovah, your Elohim. My father was an Arami refugee. He went down to Mitzrayim, lived there with very little, and became a great nation, vast and huge. Mitzrayim was mean to us. They oppressed us and piled hard work on us. We shouted out to Jehovah, the Elohim of our fathers. Jehovah listened to our voices and saw our oppression, our hard work, and our suffering. Whoa,
So-
my Brooklyn accent just came out.
Our hard work is suffering.
Saw.
You should. This is the Haggadah. It probably seems pretty familiar, but these
Yeah,
are like
I remember this one.
yeah, these are the portions that are in the Haggadah.
I just feel like in like social media, like the shouted out to would be like called out on. No. I think Twitter has done really bad things to my brain and to many people's brains, to be honest. Okay, moving along.
I think Jehovah got canceled.
And deservedly so. Like, have we read the parts about slavery?
It's bad stuff.
Not the Exodus parts, but the parts where we can enslave others, and also the genocide. I think it's time to cancel Jehovah.
Yes.
Jehovah took us out of Mitzrayim with a strong hand, with fist pumping, and with amazing wonders and signs. He brought us to this place and gave us this land flowing with milk and honey.
Cows just spewing milk and bees puking everywhere. It was amazing.
I guess I just kind of wonder, like, how you swim in that.
You got to take a bath after.
I think I've always wondered, like, how you swim in honey, because it's flowing, so you think like a body of water, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. I always think waterfalls just falling on people.
I'm just thinking it's a mess. So now I bring the first fruits of the ground that Jehovah gave me.
Oh, who can remember all that? They have to say it. Great.
Yeah, I don't remember where this started. I mean, but that's also like pandemic brain.
Yeah.
You'll leave it in front of Jehovah, your Elohim, and bow. You'll be happy in all of the great stuff Jehovah, your Elohim, gives your house, the Levi, and the stranger among you.
And that's chapter 41. All right. This is chapter 42, in which there are rules about charitable giving. Deuteronomy 26:12 to 26:15.
Set aside a tenth of everything you grow. In the third year, the year of the tenth, give to the Levi, the stranger, the orphan, and the widow. They'll eat in your gates and be full. When you do this, this is what you'll say before Jehovah, your Elohim. I separated out the holy stuff from the house and gave it to the Levi, the stranger, the orphan, and the widow, like you commanded me. I have not crossed or forgotten any of your commandments. I haven't eaten while mourning. I haven't swept it out while yucky. And I haven't given any of it to dead people.
Who would give it to dead people?
I have so many questions about that. I guess, like, is it like some sort of like relationship to maybe idolatry, or in terms of pagan ritual, maybe?
Most likely. I think they're probably pretty much anytime there's something that seems weird, it's idolatry.
I've listened to the voice of Jehovah, my Elohim, and done everything you commanded me. Please glance at me from your holy perch in the sky and bless my nation, Israel, that is, and the ground that you gave us like you swore to our fathers, a land flowing with milk and honey.
There it is again. That's chapter 42. And that's kind of like a very old version of a tax return. It's like you have to set aside a tenth of everything and give it to the poor to make sure they're fed. So directly to people, and then you have to say this thing to Jehovah, explaining how you did it and made sure that you did it perfectly right.
And we are recording during the RNC, or the RNC is about to start, and they will consider 10% the tithing to be a little too much, and government theft. Whereas I'm looking at it and I'm just like, this is not enough.
No, yeah.
This is not enough. Like, this is like philanthropy,
Yeah.
like a scam.
I mean, but it is directly to people. Like, it's not going through an organization. You're giving it right to the people who don't have land.
So there's no nonprofit industrial complex.
Exactly. Here. There's nobody, shifting anything off the top for administration fees.
There are no like CEOs making six figures while not letting their staff unionize. Gotcha.
Exactly. Yeah, and then using all the money for fundraising and not actually giving it to any of the people.
Yeah. Everything paid for the gala. It's like the Arrested Development episode, raising money for TBD.
Exactly. This is chapter 43, in which we sum things up, apparently. Deuteronomy 26:16 to 26:19.
Jehovah, your Elohim, has given these decrees and rules today. You will guard them and do with them with all your heart and soul. Today you said that Jehovah will be your Elohim, and you will walk in his path to guard his decrees, commandments, and rules, listening to his voice. Today, Jehovah said that you will be his special treasure nation.
Aww.
Like, I just actually heard that said, like, in My Precious. Voice. I should never do voices, not even of like CGI characters.
Andy Serkis is hard to mimic.
Yeah, mine was really bad. That keeps his commandments. He'll always set you above all the other nations for fame and glory, to be a holy nation to Jehovah, your Elohim, like he said. I feel like God is a really bad parent. It's like, you're not supposed to choose favorites among your children, and he's clearly doing that here.
Yes. That's chapter 43, but he's an abusive parent. He loses his temper constantly. He's not great. And you're right, he plays favorites.
He plays favorites.
It's like the model for Yaakov. That's why Yaakov screwed up so much with Yosef. Having favorite kids, not a good idea.
I mean, and Yaakov, like, good fatherhood wasn't modeled to him by Yitzhak.
No, yeah.
So it's a cycle. We have to break it.
We do. This is chapter 44, in which it will not be broken, and in which a memory aid is established. Deuteronomy 27:1 to 27:10.
I don't know what memory aid is, but I guess I'm about to find out. Moshe and the elders commanded the nation, watch over all the commandments that I'm commanding you today, they said. On the day you cross the Yarden to the land that Yehovah, your Elohim, is going to give you, put up some big rocks, soften them with plaster, and write all the words of this teaching on them.
That's a memory aid. Very outdated record keeping.
But actually, like I'm a big person, like I'm big into lists, right? And so just, writing things down, even though it's not like anything high tech or special, it really does help me. And then I get the satisfaction of crossing things off.
Mm-hmm. It's as soon as you get there, start a to-do list. Like you got a lot to do when you get in.
Yeah, you should write your things that you need to do down.
Yeah.
When you cross the Jordan to get to the land that Yehovah is going to give to you, a land flowing with milk and honey. I mean, take a shot or something, right? It should become a drinking game. Like Yehovah, the Elohim of your fathers, said he'd give you, set up the rocks that I'm about to command you today at Har Eval, covered in plaster. Okay. I don't really have any thoughts about that.
It's pretty functional requirements. Yeah. Make the rocks and write on them.
Also, build an altar to Yehovah, your Elohim, out of stones. Do not use anything iron for it. You have to build the altar to Yehovah, your Elohim, out of whole rocks. And okay, so this kind of reminds me of those cooking shows where we're like, you have 3 ingredients and now you have to make a 3-course meal. It's like, do not use anything iron, even if there's iron lying around. Like, why wouldn't you do that? Like, it just seems like one of those challenges. And then at the end, like someone's gonna get voted off. It's gonna go home.
If you don't do it, you're gonna get some pestilence.
I mean, that's probably actually what happened. And you will bring ulahs up to Yehovah, your Elohim, on it. You'll sacrifice the complete sacrifices and eat them and be happy before Yehovah, your Elohim. I just want to say that I don't like it when I'm told to be happy or told to relax or told to have a specific emotion, which is why I don't do yoga.
Yeah. It never works.
I haven't had therapy in a while because of finances, and I'm sorry if it's now becoming a therapy session here. So you will write every word of this Torah on the stones very clearly.
Like with calligraphy and stuff, make sure you choose somebody with very, very, very good penmanship.
Shut the hell up, Moshe, the Kohanes, and the Levites said to all of Israel. I'm going to guess that you took some liberties with that translation?
Yeah, it's a loose translation.
Okay. It's the spirit of what was being said.
Exactly. They needed to quiet them down. They were a rabble.
I mean...
They got to prepare them for what's about to happen because it's about to get really weird.
They didn't have... The Sheket Bavakasha chant, hey, has not yet been created. So this is the best they could do.
Exactly.
Listen up, Israel. Today you will become the nation of Yehovah, your Elohim. Listen to the voice of Yehovah, your Elohim, and do his commandments and decrees I'm going to command you today.
That's chapter 44. Whew. Are you ready for chapter 45, Dvora?
I mean, I feel like it says that there are curses.
Yes.
You have to read it. I don't mean to. Spoiler alert.
Yes. For those who haven't read this book that's been around for a few thousand years, there are curses coming.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry if I am. Actually, not sorry. It's been around for a while.
You've had time.
Yeah. I guess I am excited because I want to know what the curses are, but I suspect they're not going to be fun words.
No. There's some messed up stuff in here. This is what's known as the Tochacha.
Oh my God, yes.
Yes.
I remember now. Sometimes my yeshiva education returns to me.
Yes, and it's one of those, I like to call them the summer parshas because I feel like they're kind of ignored. You're off in camp. You're not paying attention as much. You're not in school every day. And it was always this weird thing that just happened and I didn't really know much about it.
So at camp, we did learn the parsha. I remember we had this thing. They called it share, and it was years later that I realized the word was shi'or. And I was like, oh, what is share? We just called it share. And yeah, I actually, I think one year I got the share award at camp.
Oh.
It was a really
You were ready. You were preparing for this podcast.
I was preparing for this podcast, but I'm sure they softened the language, and we probably didn't spend much time discussing the curses, to be honest.
No, it's a tough one.
Shielded. Okay.
This is chapter 45, in which there's a bunch of curses, blessings, and then curses again. Deuteronomy 27:11 to 29:8. It's kind of like a curse sandwich, the opposite of the way you should give feedback.
Exactly. But I am writing right now a lot about abuse in gymnastics. So this is actually fits in because this is actually the feedback, the way that a lot of coaches give feedback.
Oh, no.
Except they might leave out the blessings part in the middle. Curses and then curses. It's like a sandwich with nothing in the middle, just 2 slices of white bread.
Ugh.
I know, it's not pleasant. This is what Moshe commanded the nation that day. After you cross the Yarden, stand to bless the nation on Har Gerizim, Moshe said. Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, Yisachar, Yosef, and Binyamin. Haven't said that one in a while.
The real pronunciation.
These guys will stand at Harival for the curses. Reuven, Gad, Asher. Okay, it's God, not, you spelled it with an O.
Yes.
That's just like...
It's not Gad, it's God. That's his name.
It's just me. Because, like, you're reading it and you're about to say God. I'm just, I'm sorry. Like, your listeners are probably going to be worried that I'm not super smart, but, like, that was not my fault.
Yes, that was God. The word is God. Not God, God.
Zvulun, Dan, and Naphtali. The Levites will answer and scream this really loudly to every man in Israel. Curse the man who makes a sculpture or a molten image.
Which I guess means we should tear down all sculptures.
Yeah, I mean, art, who needs it?
Yeah. Generals that we don't like anymore, get rid of them.
I mean, yeah, especially, some Confederate generals, or all of them.
Yeah.
Or all officials in the Confederacy, and most of the U.S. presidents.
Yeah.
This is gross to Jehovah.
So the word that's used here is that word that's translated as abomination all the time, the word that's used to describe homosexuality. And here it says that the same word for making a sculpture. But, I guess people kind of ignore this one and aren't as upset as sculptures. I don't know why. Maybe it has something to do with bigotry. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah, I think you're onto something. Okay. He makes it with his hands in secret.
Don't know what that means.
I don't know. It sounds like wrong.
Yeah, it's like in his basement making sculptures.
Yeah. He's hiding it from his whole family. The nation will respond and say, Amen. Curse the man who insults his father or mother. Wow. Please. I guess now we understand why my life has turned out the way it has. I'm clearly cursed.
We're all screwed.
We're all screwed. I just thought, like, how does anyone get out of adolescence without being cursed?
Yeah, they don't. It explains everything.
Yes. The nation will respond, Amen. Curse the one who moves his neighbor's borders.
Fighting over your fences, very, very bad.
Again, not to keep going back to Arrested Development, but you remember the episode where Lucille had the contractors move the wall in Lucille 2's apartment and everything.
Yes, it triggered her vertigo. She is cursed. She is explicitly here in the Bible.
And that's, not even the top 10. It doesn't even crack the top 10 in the bad things that character did on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Amen. Curse the ones who messes with a blind person on the road. Okay, yeah, I stand behind. That's a good one.
It's pretty fucked up. Don't do that.
It's pretty fucked up. Amen. Curse the one who undermines justice for a stranger, an orphan, or a widow. This is a good one. This is a really good one. They're not all winners here, but that one's a winner. Curse the one who fucks his father's woman because he has taken off his father's clothes. Okay, so he's taken off his father's clothes, like he undressed his father. Like, what are they talking about there? Do you understand?
I think it's a metaphor. I think it's that, like, because women are property in this text. If the woman belongs to his father, because I don't really use the word wife here. The word for wife and woman is the same word. He has taken off his father's clothing if he's removed his father's woman's clothing.
Women are property more than just this text.
Yes, no, I know.
In most texts, actually.
Yes.
Until the very recent past.
Yes.
Bet you this woman can't get a credit card without her husband's permission either.
Yes, probably not.
Amen. Curse anyone who fucks
I like how you said amen to that.
I'm gonna another winner, definitely should be cursed. But the question is this happening a lot?
I don't think so. I mean, likely not. I mean, it's probably more reflexive and reflects the like taboos of the society in which it was written than like something that they actually had to outlaw.
Okay, I was just wondering.
Yeah.
It's in there, so you're like, is this happening? Do they need to hear this? Do they need to know this is wrong?
They need to remind them, stop screwing those goats.
Curse the one who has sex with his sister, whether it's the daughter of his father or his mother.
I feel like we're kind of stuck on this topic.
Yeah, it's like it's a little bit like reading like a erotica website, like of all the like different sort of you have all the different sort of sections. Not that I ever looked on an erotica website.
No, of course not.
Of course not. Amen. Curse the one who fucks his mother-in-law. I mean, I guess that's bad, but like they're not technically blood relations. But back then, I guess they all are anyway. It's just very incestuous. The whole.
Yeah, it's not great. I mean,
Not great.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not in favor of it. I'm not in favor of these relationships.
You're not coming out in favor of any of the things that we've just said.
I'm just again. It's like I'm wondering, like, are these problems that the society itself is really experiencing, and so they need to be called out, or is it just like they're trying to cover all their bases and imagine all sort of wrong human behaviors?
I like to think that it's kind of like stream of consciousness, and he's just thinking about these off the top of his head. He's like, yeah, mother-in-laws too. Don't do that.
Okay. Thanks so much. Like, I just have not read Torah in a really long time. So I just need this explained to me. Curse the one who strikes his neighbor in secret.
Which I feel like when you do it in public, it's not that great either.
Yeah. But, at least you own it when you're doing it in public.
That's true.
But yeah. It's like, again, like first page of curses, not so into them. But this one, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Amen. Curse the one who takes a bribe in a case about the murder of a clean soul. Now, I was with it until clean soul. Like, what is that?
That's likely somebody who doesn't have a major sin on them, like somebody who isn't a big sinner.
Yes, because they believe in capital punishment.
Yes.
Amen. Curse the one who does not uphold the words of this teaching to do them.
It's kind of tautological, but all right.
Amen. But if you listen very well to the voice of Jehovah, your Elohim, to guard over and to do all his commandments, I'm going to command you today, Jehovah, your Elohim, will put you above all the other nations in the land. There goes the bad parenting again.
Mm-hmm.
All these blessings will come to you, and you will definitely happen if you listen to the voice of Jehovah, your Elohim. You will definitely happen.
No, all these blessings will come to
Will
you.
definitely happen to you. Oh my God, I read that badly. Oh man. I'm really like, this podcast is making me feel like I need to go back to the basics.
That's all right. It's usually my typos, so I felt vindicated for a second.
I was like, is it like Mean Girls? Like, you will make this happen, but that's just not going to happen. I'm really sorry. And I didn't even drink. I considered having a glass of wine before I came on, but I decided, I should keep a clear head. And clearly, even the clear head, it's going well.
It's fine.
Okay. Be blessed in the city and blessed in the fields. The fruit of your bellies will be blessed. Also the fruit of your earth, the fruit of your animals, the calving of your herds, and the lambing of your sheep.
These are the blessings, by the way.
Oh, these are the good things.
Yeah.
Okay. Some of them just don't sound as good as... I mean, I don't want all the blessings. Your basket and kneading bowl are blessed. Okay. Good. Be blessed when you come and when you go. Jehovah will give you your enemies, and when they attack you, they will come to you on one road, but will run away on 7 roads.
We all know what that means, obviously.
Wait.
I do not know what that means.
Oh, I thought like I was really thinking like, oh my God, there's something that is common knowledge.
No.
And I'm just the person who doesn't have this common knowledge, so I spent much of my childhood and my adult life, learning about gymnastics.
No, it's this weird idiomatic thing about battles that nobody knows anymore.
Okay, 7 roads. I I guess that means they're going to scatter.
Yeah, you'll disperse them. I would imagine they get away in no roads because, you know, they're dead, but they'll go in 7 roads.
I mean, I prefer they scatter because I don't want people to die. I'm not the head of the NCAA or an NFL team owner. To bring it back to the beginning, Jehovah will bless your barns and everything you set your hand to. Jehovah will bless you in the land that Jehovah your Elohim is giving you. Jehovah will make you a holy nation like he swore to you, but only if you watch over the commandments of Jehovah your Elohim and walk in his paths.
These aren't very imaginative blessings. They're kind of boring.
I mean, yeah, I guess I feel like, nice blessings, like also like love poetry. This is kind of really bland,
Yeah.
you know?
Very agricultural based, not much beyond that.
All this stuff with great literature.
No.
All the nations of the land will see that Jehovah's name is on you, and they'll be afraid of you. Jehovah will give a lot of good to the fruits of your bellies, the fruits of your animals, and the fruits of your ground on the land that Jehovah your Elohim promised you. Honestly, it's like I don't even remember how this whole thing, this particular section started. To be honest, I don't know what came before this. It's just a lot of words.
It's kind of what happens with this, especially this book, like Dvarim. It just he's just talking. He's just on a roll, and they let him go. This was he just told them. I mean, basically, up until now, he's been giving them a whole lot of rules, and this is like what will happen if you do them or don't do them. But he's repeated this stuff a bunch of times too.
Way overridden.
Yeah, needs a lot of editing.
Jehovah will open up his good store, the skies.
We should really start calling the sky God's good store, by the way.
But like some shitty stuff comes out of it as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Storms, I was like driving. I forgot I was going upstate, and we passed a lot of split trees. I assume it was because of all the storms.
Yeah.
From the lightning. So God doesn't really have his store is a mixed store.
Yeah.
Some good, some bad. To rain on your land in its time, and to bless everything your hand does. Many nations will owe money to you, but you will not owe. You will not owe anything.
I really wish they hadn't put that in this book.
Oh wow, great!
Yeah, thanks a lot.
This hasn't followed us for at this point.
God damn it!
We're not saying some version of this at RNC right now as we record.
This hasn't been taken out of context and used for all sorts of nefarious reasons. Jeez.
Exactly. Yeah, this is fine. Everything is fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nobody points out that sometimes it doesn't rain in the night right time, but this has come true, right? Sure.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, in order to counter the anti-Semitics out there, or anti-Semites, that's what they're actually not. Anti-Semitic is the adjective. It's not using the right part of speech. I owe a lot of money in student loans. So
there are a lot of Jews in debt.
A lot of Jews in debt, like a lot. I feel like I'm going to go to my grave, or owing student loans, and they're going to put a lien on my tombstone. In order to keep
they'll put this verse on it just to mess with them.
They'll be chopping at the marble saying until my debt is paid. Jehovah will give you the head, not the tail. You will only be on top, never on bottom.
There are no Jewish bottoms. God has ordained it so.
And give you the head. Sorry, this is whatever. But only if you watch over all the commandments of Jehovah your Elohim that I am commanding you today to watch over and do. Do not turn from all of these things I am commanding you today to the right or the left to go after other Elohims and serve them. Okay.
All right. Tone change. Time for some curses.
Okay. Oh, we're back. Now we're out of the good part.
Yeah.
Okay, so now our self-esteem is supposed to take a hit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I mean it's
This is what happens if you step out of line even a little bit.
But if you don't listen to the voice of Jehovah, your Elohim, to guard over and do all of his commandments and decrees that I'm commanding you today, all of these curses are gonna happen to you. Sorry, I don't want to stray from your translation.
Thank you. Yeah, it's like Mammoth.
Okay, that lasted a little too hard, but that's only because I had like a brief like memory of a Mammoth play I saw when I was in London many years ago when I was in college, of like Kenneth Branagh like full frontal, and now anytime someone says Mammoth, like that's where I'm going.
Oh, glad I can conjure that for you.
But it was really, I had really bad seats, so I didn't see it very clearly.
Okay. You will be cursed in that you won't be able to see Kenneth Branagh on close, full frontal.
You will be cursed in the city and cursed in the field. Okay. So city and suburbs. Bad.
Everybody. Rural
Everywhere.
areas.
All the people who are fleeing New York right now to go to the suburbs. First of all, like, don't let the door hit you on the way out. Except not the people who have to leave because they truly can't afford it because they've lost their jobs, or not those people. It's like, yes, I understand, but like, the people who are like, New York isn't it anymore.
New York is dead. I can't see a show.
I can't see a show. The things that I liked about New York are not here temporarily.
You
Crime-
asshole.
Yeah, those people. Go enjoy
There
this.
are millions of people who live here and are not going anywhere. Relax.
Yeah, and a lot of those people also can't afford to go anywhere.
Yeah.
I can't afford to go anywhere, though I would stay either way.
Yeah.
But I was not a huge fan of the Jerry Seinfeld op-ed times because, like, he's worth nearly $1 billion. You know, he wanted to. He could be doing a lot with that money to keep New York alive and afloat, but of course he isn't.
He doesn't need to fix the MTA when he has all those cars.
I know, and those cars are not fuel efficient.
No.
And they mostly just look really stupid. I'm sorry, I am not a car person. The fruit of your bellies.
Wait. Go back one.
Did that already?
No.
Okay. The fruit of your bellies, the fruit of your ground, the calvings of your herd, and the lambing of your sheep are cursed. Now I have to ask, what was the Hebrew there that you decided to go all caps, yelling at me in this?
Oh, I just wanted I wanted to mix it up a little bit.
Oh, okay. I was like, did they use an extra cursey word?
They may have used an adjective for it, or it's really curse.
Oh, it's really curse. It's italic.
Yeah.
It's like Hebrew italics. You are cursed in your comings and goings. So it's just kind of cursing everything that was in the bus.
Yeah, it's just the reverse of everything.
Okay. Jehovah will send you calamity, panic, and frustrations, and everything you set your hand to do until you're destroyed and lost so quickly because of the evil you're done in leaving me. I'm trying to read it over and understand what I just read, but
maybe I meant to write "you've done."
No, I don't think it's a problem. I just think I am. Sometimes when you're reading something aloud, you're focused on reading it aloud, so the comprehension part's not working, and that's where I am. I think people are going to listen to this and question whether or not I'm literate, and really question my writing ability, and that's fine because I question that every day.
I think though it'll make sense to them.
Jehovah will stick pestilence on you until you are gone from the land that you came to inherit. I don't want to read about pestilence right now.
Okay.
You will be hit with consumption, fever, inflammation, hot heat, drought, blight, and mildew. They will chase you until you die. Okay, this is triggering during COVID-19. The skies above you will be copper, and the earth below you iron.
Sounds less like a curse and more like a very lucrative mining situation, but it's just me looking at it from a capitalist perspective.
I didn't realize you were a capitalist.
No, I'm just, trying to find some positive in the curses.
Well, I was about to say, I was about to have to leave the podcast, some, celebrity having a tantrum leaving the interview. Jehovah will give you rain on your land, but it will be dust and ash.
That's not rain at all.
I mean, is rain defined by the fact that it's water based? Because we have snow, and it's also water.
Yeah, it could be precipitation.
Is anything just coming down from the sky? I'm not a scientist. I'm just asking questions.
Is rain real?
What is rain? Is it just merely that it falls from the sky? So could knives rain down on us, for instance, or could it be raining men?
These are the questions that the weathermen have asked. Or the weather girls.
Jehovah will destroy you before your enemies. You will head out to them in one road and run away in seven roads.
The dreaded curse of 7 roads.
Again, but I do think that just shows that you've survived. So maybe it's a little bit of a blessing.
Yeah, it keeps you around.
You will be horrible to all the kingdoms in the land. Your cadavers will be food for every bird of the sky and the animals of the ground. No one will chase them away. Like, that one seems pretty bad.
Yeah.
I don't want to be eaten by like crows and stuff. Do crows, or is it hawks or vultures? Again, not a scientist. I do sometimes worry that like if I die alone in my apartment, like what will my dog Lizzie do? Because she is a beagle mix, but she's very food motivated. And and I keep the food on top of the fridge, so she's not gonna be able to get it. So what are her options in that situation? I like to think she loves me and won't eat my body, but sometimes I doubt that. Sometimes I worry. Hi, I've been in quarantine alone for 5 months. These are thoughts I've had. We are very, very, very much straying from the parsha here.
We're thinking about curses, thinking about animals devouring humans.
Yeah, and I mean, we are living in a cursed time. There's no question about it.
We are, yes.
Jehovah will hit you with boils from Mitzrayim, with hemorrhoids, boil scars, and itches that you will never be able to scratch.
That's the worst part. That's pretty bad.
Jehovah will hit you with madness, blindness, and sadness. Okay, like I guess I was going to say, that all rhymes, but it probably did not rhyme in Hebrew.
No, that was me.
Well done. You'll feel around at noon like a blind man feels around in the dark.
Which they do at noon too, I think, blind men.
Well, I feel like, they know how to. I don't think they're fumbling. I think they're just very experienced in how to understand their space really well.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, again, I don't know anything about anything. I should only be commenting on gymnastics. Is there a gymnastics parsha? This is what I ask you. Is there anything that could be relevant?
There might be something in Nach. I'll take a look.
Okay. Nothing you do will go well. Don't
I know it?
The tagline of 2020: "You'll be abused and robbed every day, and no one will help." That's a lot of robbing. Like, at some point, you just run out of things for people to steal from you.
Yeah. They just keep taking you. They just keep taking your clothing. You keep getting more, and they keep taking it.
I just think that if you're being robbed every day, you might be a billionaire, because like those are the only people that can continually be robbed and still have possessions worth robbing.
Yeah.
And like, is this just like a endorsement of socialism and the reappropriation of wealth, or am I just seeing what I want to see?
I mean, that's how the Bible works. Everyone just sees what they want to see, I think.
Get to a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Pay for a woman, another man will fuck her.
Speaking of the RNC and Jerry Falwell Jr.
and also just like the woman here, it's like no choices.
No, there's no man who has agency in this context. It's directly to a man that this is spoken.
You're gonna be fucked by the man who paid for you, or fucked by the man who stole you. Either way, like, your life is cursed.
Mm-hmm. You're just an object in a curse that hurts another person.
It's so great to be a woman. You'll build a house, but won't get to live in it. You'll plant vineyards, but will not be able to harvest. Your ox will be slaughtered right before your eyes, but you won't get to eat from it. Your ass will be grabbed right in front of you, and not returned. Sorry, obviously, my visual is visuals are weird, as we've understood from the mammoth stuff. Your sheep will be given to your enemies, and no one will help you. That one's like, I don't know.
It's like they were trying to find variations on the theme there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like your sheep will be given to your enemies, and they will like shear it and make a wool sweater in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
kind of lost steam on the curses there. No one's gonna help you.
I'm just suggesting things.
Yes, I like it.
Just some edits.
Maybe the next round.
Your sons and daughters will be given to other nations. Your eyes will see them and you'll want them dearly every day, but you won't be able to lift your hand to do anything. Another nation that you don't know will eat the fruits of your earth and everything you touch.
Surprise nation.
Yes. Who's behind the mystery door? You will just be abused and crapped on all of your days. You will see such crazy stuff, it'll drive you meshuggah.
Yes, it does say meshuggah.
And I mean it's where it comes from, right?
Yeah, it's Hebrew.
Yes, right. Does it actually say meshuggah, or now I'm really gullible?
No, it absolutely says meshuggah. I didn't even have to translate it.
Oh wow. Forgot. I guess that's a very old word.
Yeah.
Jehovah will give you a really bad inflammation in your knees and thighs, and you won't be able to get better from the sole of your foot to the top of your head.
Just arthritis everywhere.
This happens anyway.
Yeah.
I've had I have arthritis in one of my knees, probably the other by now too, and it's been that way for a long time. Like I have no cartilage left. When I do squats, I can hear them scratch. It's crunchy. And some days when I'm at CrossFit, yes, I know, I'm sorry. I can't do lunges today because my knee feels crunchy, and everyone kind of winces. Ooh, but that's exactly, it feels crunchy.
Ooh.
It is my long-held belief that knees never went past beta testing. And I mean, I've said this a lot, and they are proof that there is no intelligent design.
No.
This is not an intelligent design at all. And why would you not be able to grow more cartilage?
Yeah.
Things regenerate.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I don't need all this hair, but I could use some cartilage.
The human body is kind of just a mess.
Yeah.
But it's just a curse. It's because we didn't follow the rules. That's why.
Oh.
Yeah. Otherwise.
I mean, no, I think it's it's God covering his ass. He knows that knees are a bad design.
Mm-hmm.
So he is, basically saying, I'm cursing you, and so therefore, when everyone's knees hurt, it's not like, oh, I screwed up. It's like, no, you screwed up.
Exactly.
It's gaslighting, I think.
Yes. Godlighting.
Oh, very good. Okay, I have a lot. There's a lot to read here.
Yes, it's a big page.
And the king, and the king you put over yourselves to another nation that you and your fathers don't know. You'll serve other Elohim made of wood and stone. They'll look at you in astonishment. You'll be a warning, whisper it about in all the nations that Jehovah has sent you. You'll bring a lot of seeds to the field, but you'll gather very little because the locusts will devour it. You'll plant vineyards and work them, but you won't drink wine or store anything because the worms will eat it all. You'll have olive trees in your borders, but you won't be able to collect olive oil because the olives will fall off. Then you get to eat olives. They're pretty tasty.
Yeah, they are. I mean, oil's fine. I want olives.
Yeah. And, olives taste really good. We don't need to press them for their oil, though that's nice as well. You'll have sons and daughters. Oh, but they won't stay with you because they'll go into captivity. All the trees and fruits of your land will be taken by crickets. I mean, you just kind of imagine God just sort of free associating, the way I'm trying to work out what's going to be in a story. I'm just going to sit down and just start typing.
Yeah.
And see what happens. But then I edit that draft.
Yes.
And I don't submit that to my editor. But God is doesn't have an editor.
God doesn't need an editor. God is perfect.
Who would edit God?
Exactly.
I mean, Moshe.
He knows what happens when you stand up to God.
But God is the first in self-publishing.
Yes. Right? This whole thing is self-published, and it shows.
And it shows, right? There are parts that repeat.
Mm-hmm.
The editor would point out that, listen, you got 2 creation stories. For creation of man stories, you got to work on that. Which one do you think works best? And get across the themes and ideas. Sorry, I have a lot of thoughts. And And the stranger that is among you will rise higher and higher while you drop lower and lower. You will owe money to him. He will be the head and you will be the tail.
Oh, see, now Jews owe money to other people.
Oh, okay. So does since it's clear that we've all been cursed, shouldn't shouldn't that anti-Semitic trope not have taken off?
Right, right? You wouldn't, but that's part of the curse, probably.
Oh man, basically,
Fucking
just God like argues his way out of anything,
yeah.
and we just wow.
God's really devil's advocate.
Yeah. All the curses will come to you. They will chase you down and catch you until you're destroyed because you didn't listen to the voice of Jehovah, your Elohim, to guard over his commandments and decrees that he commanded you. They will be signs and wonders for you and your seed forever. Since you didn't serve Jehovah, your Elohim, with happiness and a good heart during an abundance, you have to serve your enemies that Jehovah sent you in hunger and thirst, naked and missing everything. They'll put an iron yoke on you until you've been destroyed.
Wow.
This is some
This is the Tochacha. This was the parsha we didn't pay attention to.
Yeah, and how was it? I remember I have a vague memory of two different mountains.
Yeah, so they had half of them standing on one mountain and saying the curses, and half on the other saying the blessings.
In my mind, that was always a game of blessing, curse, Red Rover.
Yeah, you really want to be on the blessing mountain.
Because I have vague memories of learning about this and the two mountains, and then them yelling at each other from the two mountains, and it was Red Rover. I don't know how you play this game. I'm really sorry that I'm ruining your podcast.
Don't ruin it. This is great.
I haven't spoken to a lot of people today.
It's whatever it brings up for you. That's what we're talking about.
Jehovah will set a faraway nation on you from the end of the earth that will attack like an eagle, a nation whose language you've never heard, a nation of strong faces that is not merciful to the old or young. What are these strong faces?
Right? They're maybe mean, strong faces, not weak Jewish faces.
No weak chins here.
Yeah, exactly.
Not like Kenneth on 30 Rock.
Exactly.
It will eat the fruits of your animals and of your ground until you're destroyed, so that nothing is left of your grain, wine, oil, calving of your herds, and the lambing of your sheep until you've been completely lost. You'll be trapped in your areas throughout your land until your strong, tall walls that you trust have been torn down. Isn't it good though sometimes to tear down your walls and be open and vulnerable?
Exactly. It's just people with strong faces.
Yeah, strong faces, but
good chins.
Don't keep your walls up,
Yeah.
Down. Let people in to your city so they can, plunder you.
Rob you every day.
Yeah, rob you every day. But as I said before, if you're being robbed every day, you probably deserve it.
Yeah.
When you're besieged in all your towns in the land that Jehovah, your Elohim, gave you, you'll eat the fruits of your bellies, the meat of your sons, and the daughters that Jehovah, your Elohim, gave you, because of how horrible your enemies have made things for you.
Okay, things are getting really fucked up. We gotta get out of these curses. It's getting dark.
It's the nice man among you will be mean to his brother.
No more Mr. Nice Guy.
But was he ever really nice to begin with?
It's true. Are there any nice guys?
Or is he just trying to manipulate you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just like Jehovah.
And to his women and remaining children, he won't even give them the meat of the children he has eaten. Meat of the children. Wait, did I just read that right?
Yeah. Yeah. He's bad now because he won't share the his children that he's eating cannibalistically.
Okay, I just was making sure that I read that correctly because I've had some problems along the way with reading and comprehension.
Yeah, it's getting very, very dark.
It's Dahmer stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing will be left to him because of how bad it will be when your enemies come to town. The sweetest lady who doesn't even put her foot on the ground will be mad at her man, her son, and her daughter. She will secretly eat the afterbirth that comes from between her legs because of what your enemies will do. This is just the foundations of goop and grand.
Yeah, exactly. Now people eat it for fun and because they like it.
It's rich people who can afford other food. eat it. I just like really nauseate thinking about it. Human body's gross.
Yeah. Let's keep going and get through this.
I'm sorry, am I taking too much time and making you think about unsettling things for longer than you'd like?
That's all right.
If you don't guard all the words of this teaching that I will write in this book and fear the amazing and awesome name, Yehovah, your Elohim, Yehovah will strike you and your seed with all of these plagues, big, weird, bad plagues and disease. And he will return all of the grossness of Mitzrayim that you feared so much. He'll do it to you. Also, he'll bring all of the sickness and plagues not written in this book of teaching on you until you're destroyed. I'm sorry, if you can't say sickness and plagues without thinking of our current predicament.
I know it's not good. I like how it's like the things that aren't written in the book too. So it's all this extra stuff that he could just add to it if he feels like it.
Yeah, that's like that should be against the rules.
Yeah, that's a really shitty curse. He's like, yeah. There might be, I might do some more stuff too.
It's like, in terms of, when it comes to kashrut, it's like what the only birds that are kosher are the ones that the Torah specifies, and like we are like limited to that for all time, right? Is that the rule? Am I remembering?
It's the yeah. I mean, pretty much. There are like two lists. There's one that we can eat and one that we can't, and then they just figure out if they can add stuff to it. So
yeah,
like with the turkey, they were like, yeah, I guess it's okay. I guess
it's like a chicken.
Yeah.
That's why we're gonna call it Tarnigal Hodu.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we're stuck with that. Like, that's set in stone, but like he can keep adding curses and plagues.
Yeah.
Okay, that seems fair.
He's the master manipulator, narcissistic maniac god.
Yeah, I mean, do you have like some strong God believers who listen to this? Because I'm not sure they're gonna like it.
I don't think they're strong. We take a pretty pretty atheistic approach to the providence of this book. I think they'd be turned off by now.
I'm not like driving your audience away.
No, definitely not.
Okay, because I would feel guilty about that for a little while at least. You were as
Don't worry, there are only 3 episodes left after this anyway, so.
You are as many as the stars of the sky. After this, only very few of you will be left because you didn't listen to the voice of Yehovah, your Elohim. Just like Yehovah used to fell. Now, that one I know wasn't
that wasn't in it. That I add.
Okay. I just want to be like, that I know is a newer word.
Yes.
Over making you many. He'll take pleasure in gutting you.
Oh, yeah.
You'll be ripped from the ground that you are about to inherit. Jehovah will spread to you to the ends of the earth, and you'll serve other Elohims other Elohims there. Man, these words that your fathers didn't throw, made of wood and rock. You won't be able to relax or rest your feet in those nations. There, Yehovah will wound your heart, hurt your eyes, and make your soul yearn. Your life will hang from a thread. You'll be fearful night and day, and never be sure of your life. In the morning, you'll say, "Let it be night," and at night, you'll say, "I wish it was morning."
So there was a cartoon in Mad Magazine that I remember growing up, where it was about a woman who had a cold. And every day she was just like, I just got to make it to bed. I just got to make it to bed. I just got to make it to bed. And then she lay in bed and her husband was next to her. And as soon as she got into bed, she was like, I just got to make it to morning. I just got to make it to morning. And I think they probably pulled it from this. They took it from this curse.
Yeah. I mean, I get it though. Like, we're in a very much put one foot in front of the other. Don't think that far ahead to the future, because what is the future? Like, I can't, I'm pretending November's like, was it the Green Day song, like "Wake Me Up When September Ends"?
Yeah.
I'm more like thinking it should be changed to "Wake Me Up When November Ends."
Yeah.
Yehovah will return to Mitzrayim in galleys on a road I told you never come to see again to see, and you'll be sold there to your enemies as slaves and lady slaves, but no one will buy you.
That's the saddest part.
I like that we have to insist on gender.
Yeah, here the women get to be a part of it.
Yeah, we get recognition here, but nowhere else. These are the words of the covenant Yehovah commanded Moshe to make with the sons of Israel in the land of Moab, on top of the covenant he made at Horeb. Moshe called to all of Israel, You saw everything Jehovah did in Mitzrayim to Pharaoh, all of his slaves, and the whole country with your own eyes, he said. All the great miracles, you saw them with your eyes.
Is he trying to like hypnotize them or something?
The signs and wonders. Jehovah did not give you a heart to know, eyes to see, or ears to hear until today. I took you for 40 years in the desert. The clothes on your back and the shoes on your legs never wore out.
Yeah, it's true. They wore the same clothing the whole time and the same shoes, and it grew as they walked through the desert.
Oh yeah, I remember that Midrash.
Yeah.
I mean, that just kind of sucks though, because like, didn't you get tired of wearing that? Like,
right?
It's like you wear out your shoes, and it's a nice excuse to get a new pair of shoes.
Fashion hadn't been invented yet, I don't think.
Certainly not fast fashion.
No, exactly. There was Yosef's code, and that was about it.
You didn't eat bread, you did not drink wine or anything else to get fucked up. So you'd always know I am Jehovah, your Elohim. So we have to stay sober to just remember God.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Not worth it. You came to this place, and Sichon, the king of Heshbon, and Og, the king of Bashan, came out to greet you.
Yeah.
And we beat the shit out of them. We took their land and split it up for the Reuven people, the gods, and half of the tribe of Manasseh. Watch over the words of this covenant and do all of it so that you are successful in everything you do.
That's chapter 45. That is episode 7. That's Parshat Kitavo, when you arrive. Thank you so much, Dvora, for reading.
That was a really fucked up version of The Secret. Like, here's successful.
Here's what happens when you fuck up. Now's the time of the show where we do a Dvar Torah, which literally means Torah word, where we try to sum up everything we just read into a single word. So what word do you think you could sum that up into if you had to?
A Hebrew word or an English word?
Any language you want. English, probably.
Okay, now I have to think for a second. Can I think for a second?
Yeah, of course.
Like a Jeopardy timer happening? Because also we fully processed what we were reading.
Yes.
Because I was reading and just trying to like sound out words. So, what is this Dvar Torah?
I'll tell you mine.
Narcissistic.
Yeah.
What is it? Like, it's clearly this is all like to basically like, if we don't like continually think of God, do exactly what he wants, he's gonna ruin us.
Yeah. Mine was what the fuck, which is 3 words, I know, but I'm taking some.
I would have said that if I knew that you could break the rules like that.
I just decided right now. Yeah, it's totally fucked. I mean, it's like there's a lot that I try to like sometimes find some thread in a lot of these, but this one it's really hard to, because it's just torture, and like it really feels like a writer trying to I mean, if you look at it from a historical perspective, perhaps a lot of these are things that are happened or that have happened, and it's somebody trying to justify them after the fact. Like, look, this is why we suffered through what we've suffered through, but God brought us back together because we came back and listened to him. Because I'm sure this horrific stuff happened in, the ancient Near East, or the ancient Middle East all the time.
Yeah, I'm sure
so
it did.
Not great to think about.
I mean, this is like this is what happens before you have psychology and you can just like learn to blame your parents. You have to come up with some like convoluted way of justifying all the terrible things that have happened to you and somehow make them your fault.
Yeah.
Blame where it truly belongs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good job. And I'm glad that I've forgotten this Parsha.
Yeah, I hope I forget it soon.
It was a lot. It was a lot of negativity.
It is, yeah. I feel like we have to cleanse it a little bit. I hope we can. Yeah.
That's saying something.
Thank you for being with me through all of it. I will say, like, it is kind of there is something really screwed up about how likely the people who wrote this kind of had to justify why these happened, and like the character of God that they have to create in order to do that is this really fucked up, narcissistic, crazy character.
It's like a nightmare character almost.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who's like watching like the torture porn film, like. I mean, it's not funny at all, but I guess it somehow feels fitting to read this now when it just does seem like an endless parade of curses.
Yeah, it does feel like the RNC.
I mean, I do appreciate though, like not watching the RNC. I can just get the greatest hits tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Because I don't have to torture myself.
Yes, you did it with this. I think if there's anything to focus on, it's like maybe the charity part in the beginning and like the idea of creating the society where the rules that they should be following are rules that a lot of them are about worshiping this god and not chasing other gods, but rules about equity and rules about making sure that like the orphan and the widow and are taken care of and people aren't being bribed and people aren't like creating false idols to worship.
Gotcha.
Find something positive in this.
Oh my god, that you really like twisted, bent yourself out of shape to make that one land.
Yeah, that's how our Torahs work, right?
And I hate to say it, and to put it in my parlance, you didn't stick the landing.
No, oh well.
You can't really do it with this. You just have to accept it for what it is.
Yeah, just accept the horror, embrace it.
Horror.
Yeah, I think we're about ready to close out, if that's all right with you, unless you have anything else that you wanted to share about this.
I don't know. You didn't have to share any of this. You could.
Where can people check you out online if they want to read things that you've written or read things that you're saying about Deep Space Nine?
I have not written about Deep Space Nine, much to my own chagrin, and I should get around to doing that. I have a Twitter where you can check out pictures of my dog and see. Sometimes I say smart things, but mostly I say dumb things. It's Dvora Meyers at Dvora Meyers, and
a lot of smart things.
What?
A lot of smart things, I think.
Okay, thanks for trying to build up my self-esteem. And I also have a newsletter that is about gymnastics, but sometimes about other things. Like I wrote my feelings unorthodox, so it's called Unorthodox Gymnastics. So I've kind of given myself a lot of wiggle room in terms of what topics I cover. It's mostly gymnastics, but it's some other stuff as well. It's kind of like God in that, like any sort of like, the curses the pestilence I haven't thought of yet. So I kind of, interpret it pretty broadly, but lately it's mostly been about gymnastics, and I'm sure you can just include the link somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. As always, you can find the podcast everywhere that podcasts exist, iTunes, Stitcher. It's on YouTube, SoundCloud. We have a Twitter too at OMGWTFBible, Facebook.com/OMGBible. There's an Instagram at OMGWTFBible. If you like the show, please rate and review it on iTunes. If you don't like the show, may all the curses that Dvora just read tonight befall you. Yeah. If you want to share the show with people, one way to do it is to try to sneak into one of the many sporting events that are actually happening right now somehow. Bring some USB keys and just throw them at players from 6 feet away and see what happens. Make sure you wipe them down first so they don't get sick. Thank you again, Dvora, so much for reading that. It was really fun, even if the subject matter was what it was. Thank you all out there for listening, and please be sure to join us next week, because next time in the Bible,
death.